What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you remember, I had made a video on dendrobiums, how to pot them, how to make the soil mix, etc., and when to water. It's all under the orchid playlist. I have put up all the videos. So today we are not going to be talking about dendrobium, but we are going to talk about a different variety of orchid. Now this orchid is called as Phalaenopsis. Now this particular variety is called Phalaenopsis Sunset Love, and it's an absolutely beautiful orchid. It is about to put out a bloom. As you can see, this is the spike. Now this is one of the orchid that is a beginner friendly orchid. Just like dendrobiums, if you're planning to start orchids, dendrobium and Phalaenopsis are two beginner friendly orchids that you can start with. You can see that beautiful leaves. Now this plant can do very well in indirect bright light. Do not offer direct sunlight, otherwise the leaves will get burnt. The best part about Phalaenopsis orchid is that it will do well in less light as well. It is one of the orchid that will do very well indoor as well. Now, of course, it will do well in a little bit less light. That doesn't mean that you're going to keep the orchid in a dark place. Remember, at the end of the day, it is a plant, it requires light, so try to keep it in a place where there is a good amount of indirect bright light, probably closer to the window. You can even keep this orchid in the bedroom. If you have a window which gives you a good indirect light, you can keep this Phalaenopsis orchid over there as well. Now talking about the potting media, it's the same that we had used for our dendrobiums, but I was running out of charcoal, so what I have done is I have used cocoa chips. As you can see, I have used a little bit of cocoa coir at the base, and then I have filled it up with cocoa chips. It tends to work out really well. I ran short of charcoal, otherwise I would have added charcoal as well. So it is a mix, a very airy mix. They do not like regular potting mix. You cannot use soil for orchids, they will die. You have to use a media that is very loose, airy, well draining, that does not stay or that does not hold moisture for a very long time. It should retain moisture for the orchid to have a quick drink, and then it should start to dry. Apart from that, you can see the pot as well. It's a very different type of pot. You cannot use your regular pots. There are special pots that are there for orchids. I will show you another pot as well. So I have used this green net, the cage net. Last time I had made a video on it, but this time I made it into a round shape. They need a lot of ventilation. You cannot keep the leaves deprived of air circulation, otherwise the roots will start to rot. So this is how I have used the cage net in order to make the pot, and I've used some cocoa chips, and the plant is doing quite well. These are the roots. There are some roots beneath as well, and this is the spike. Now it will take at least a month and a half for it to flower. It is a very slow process, but then the flowers tend to stay for quite a long time. They might stay from 2 to 3 months as well, depending upon the environment and climate. Sometimes they can even last for 3 to 4 months as well. Depends upon the variety and depends upon how you are watering it and giving fertilizers. The flowers will stay longer. Now as per the information what I got from others who tend to grow orchids in my city, they tend to bloom twice in a year. The Phalaenopsis orchid, they bloom twice in a year. So let's see what's going to happen next. So this is going to be the first bloom that is going to come up on this orchid. Absolutely stunning, very low maintenance, not a very fussy orchid. It only blooms once it turns mature. If it's a seedling, it will take a very long time for it to bloom. So if you're planning to purchase a mature orchid, or purchase a orchid with the bloom, because if you take a seedling, it will take a very long time for it to bloom. And here is the pot that I was talking about. These are orchid pots. They have a lot of ventilation beneath. So a lot of people tend to grow their Phalaenopsis in this. Even dendrobiums also can be grown in this. There is a lot of ventilation, but the potting media has to be very loose. You can go with orchid bark. It's a little bit expensive. If you want to go with something cheaper, or cocoa chips, leca, charcoal mix is going to work out really well, whichever is available with you. Now when I tend to water, what I do is I fill the bucket with water and then I just keep the pot like this. Now always remember, the water should not rise above this section. The water should not fall in the crown area. If the water falls in the crown area, or if it settles for a very long time, your orchid has a higher risk of getting rotted. So you have to be extremely careful, because this crown area is very important. If there is little bit water that tends to fall, you can take a tissue and just soak that water. Do not let the water sit on the crown area. There is a high chance it will rot, and if the crown area rots, then it's very difficult, or I would say it's almost impossible to save your orchid. So that's about it. It is pretty simple. You can just put the orchid in a tub of water or in a bucket of water till here, leave it for around 10 minutes and then just take it out and hang it, so that all the excess water is going to drain out and it will start to dry. Watering, again, it depends upon your environment and climate. I am from a very dry environment, so I tend to water 2 or 3 times in a week. During summers, I'll have to water more frequently. During winters and monsoons, I do not water that frequently, mostly twice in a week, and that's more than enough. Or whenever the media, 70% of the media is dry, you go ahead and do a watering. So that's about it, guys. It is very simple. You can go with any fertilizer. I go with my compost tea. I add a little bit of compost tea in that bucket of water. You can even go with NPK 20-20-20. That works out really well. Especially if you want the blooms to come up faster, you can go with a fertilizer that is a little bit more high in phosphorus and potassium. So that's about it, guys. I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.